was a very good ensemble, and choices and the director and the individuals in charge of casting. I like the action scenes, especially as you highlighted in the pre-production meeting of the
All
film.
action, all gas, no brakes. Things. The main thing above all is just the interplay between Gyllenhaal and Cavill. That was really my reason for wanting to go see it. Like, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, people of all ages, welcome back to the Sticky Floors podcast. I am one of your hosts, CJ. I am joined by Mr. Will. Mr. Will, we are back. It's season 12, man.
Yeah, that's
12.
crazy.
You know what I'm saying? 12 years of movie podcast. Like, it's in it, man. Like, feel like a little sense of accomplishment, man. To get to 12 years, 12 seasons.
Well, I don't know about 12 years, but definitely 12 seasons. That would be crazy. Um, but yeah, no, you know what? I'm going to give us some credit because I've seen a lot of things come and go.
Yep.
Like I was talking to one of the guys I went to college with, and we were talking about how a thing,
How
and
about that? I
that's
remember
crazy to
that. I
me.
remember that. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, or like Black Planet and things like that.
Yep.
These are staples of certain communities, and now all of a sudden, they're no longer here.
Yep.
Um, so it says a lot when you see things come and go, and
Mm-hmm.
being able to create something of your own
Yep.
and understand what goes through that, like that process of getting up, not wanting to sound redundant,
Mm-hmm.
bringing fresh new ideas. So yeah, man, it's a credit. I want to give us some props. Credit
Right.
to
How
us.
about it, man? Yo, we've been doing it long enough to have the Spurs suck, and now the Spurs are good again. And, and we're still out here talking about movies, man. And
I don't know what that says about sports or us.
things go in cycles. That's what it means, man.
Yeah,
That's what it means. Except for us, we always going up and to the right, so we're doing good. So,
hopefully.
if this is your first time with the Sticky Floors podcast, once again, thank you for joining us. We are back with
Yeah.
another season. We are kicking it off tonight with In the Gray, which is in theaters right now. Last season, we did pretty much everything was like in your house in terms of what movies were like. Now this season we're gonna be in the theaters a lot. So every
Yeah.
like we're gonna really be in there like going and watching these movies for the people and then giving you these reviews so that you can decide, where do I want to put my money at. So this is a good way to kick it off. Man, without further ado, man, I'm gonna kick it over to Mr. Will, who's gonna hit us with the summary of In the Gray, and then we're gonna get into our review on it.
Um, Set within the moral ambiguity ecosystem of global covert operations, In the Gray follows an elite, deniable task force of operatives who exist in the in excuse me, losing my voice now all of a sudden, interstational space between state authority and criminal enterprise, functioning on precision, instruments of precision, and high value recoveries. When a ruthless power broker orchestrates the theft of $1 billion fortune, the team, comprised of operative Sid, played by Henry Cavil, Bronco, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, and strategist Rachel Wild, played by Eiza Gonzalez, is deployed to retrieve the stolen assets through extrajudiciation as well as initiating what appears to be an effectively framed as an impossible heist against a fortified criminal financial enterprise. As the mission unfolds, the operation rapidly degenerates from a controlled extraction into a destabilized theater of deception where shifting allegiances and alliances all of a sudden change the way things progress. They're layered in misinformation as well as competing agendas, transforming the recovery effort into an increasingly volatile contest of survival. The team's reliance on accurate and calculated violence and procedural improvisation underscores the film's central thesis. In a world governed by invisible power structures, morality isn't absolute, rather transactional.
There it is. There it is. Yo, so as Mr. Will said, this movie stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Henry Cavill, Eiza Gonzalez, who's also a singer. Did you know that she's a singer? She has two albums out.
That I did not know.
Yeah, interesting, man. She's multi-talented. Also has Christopher Hivju. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Fisher Stevens and Rosamund Pike. This movie was written and directed by Guy Ritchie, who has also written and directed a host of films, including Snatch, The Man from Uncle, Wrath of Man, and The Covenant. So far, this movie released actually on May 15th. It's was made for between 40 to 60 million. And of course, it's in theaters right now. So, the final count on what the money makes remains to be seen. So, Mr. Will, I got a question for you just about this. This is a Guy Ritchie film. I mentioned a couple of them. Are you familiar with Guy Ritchie films? Do you have like any
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
thought about his particular style of directing that you wanted to highlight for the viewers?
I think one of the most interesting films that he's made stars what's the pretty boy from Texas? I can't think of his name right now. Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey,
Uh,
yeah. Hmm.
Matthew McConaughey is a weed seller, and he has this whole enterprise over in England,
Hmm.
and he's in competing markets with an Asian gentleman. I forget that guy's name, as well as another I want to say Frenchman. But the style in which that they film that is almost like you're there, but you're not there. You're like a fly on the wall, and the cinematography is more like fast paced.
Hmm.
It's almost it's very distinct because whether it be with Sherlock Holmes
Hmm. That's right. Yeah,
or
some of those movies too. Yeah.
yeah, or man, there's another movie escapes me right now. I'm forgetting the name, but um, it's usually like an interplay between the characters where it's whimsical and satirical. Like the lead actor is always like funny. He's intelligent, he's smart, but he's funny, witty. He's almost obtuse and obnoxious.
Hmm.
Like it's a Guy Ritchie film,
Hmm.
and a lot of them are always set in England or in somewhere in the
Yeah.
United Kingdom,
Yeah.
whether it be
Yeah.
Ireland or Scotland. There's always individuals who are they're almost like a bar setting, if you will. They're I guess they call them barflies
Mhm.
for the younger audience, um, but like the middle of it, and it deals with somebody who's like a roguish, handsome type of guy that like he has like these underworld ties, but yet he's still respectable enough because he went to this school or whatever have you. Like
Gotcha. Gotcha.
he's the
Yeah.
rebel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds very similar to the Jake Gyllenhaal and Henry
Hmm.
Cavill characters in this movie. So look, so I know that you're a big fan of Henry Cavill, man. Every time we get a chance to talk about Henry Cavill, we do it. So like, what did you think about like him and Jake Gyllenhaal in this film, man? Because I mean,
All
that's
right.
that's
So
really one of the main selling points of the joint.
yeah, you know what? So my main thing about Henry Cavill is he's usually at his best when he's being very sophisticated, debonair,
Hmm.
but yet he gives you a dose of sarcasm and comedy and humor.
Hmm.
So whether it be when he was in The Man from Uncle, which is another Guy Ritchie film
Yep.
that like displays or highlights that aspect of him where he's wearing suits,
Yeah.
three-piece
Very
suits, and
much like the James Bond kind of vibe.
yeah,
Like, yeah.
he's
That was like his audition
hobnobbing with
audition tape
the
for the James Bond role. Yeah.
hey man, if it works, where he's usually hobnobbing with the sophisticated route, but he's raunchy enough to get down and dirty with the less sophisticated, less noble parts of society. Um, with Henry Cavill too, it's very interesting to see him gravitate in the space of sci-fi.
Hmm.
Well, so he can go from The Witcher to Highlander because it's basically a similar premise,
Yeah.
or he can go from being Superman to Wolverine because again, it's in a similar
Hmm.
sphere. Where
Hmm.
he can be in Voltron, part of an ensemble cast, and then be in this movie in
Hmm.
The Gray with another group of talented actors and actresses. Like when he was in what is it? What's the movie we? Oh, the I just saw. Well, I can't say I just saw, but the movie prior to this was the movie of Ungentlemanly Warfare. I know it's a longer
Hmm.
title, but in that he is put in prison for being in the military but not adhering to the standards
Got it.
of what it means to be a British
Got it.
soldier. But then when it's time for them to use him because they need those guerrilla tactics,
Hmm.
he fits right in with another group of individuals who are just like him. Ironically enough, with what's his name, who plays man, I hate this
This
because
is
I
a
have
good.
so many cuts
This
written.
is it. All right, give me the click. Give me the clues. Give me the clues, man. Let me see if I can
All right,
put
the
it together.
clue is Alan Richardson.
Okay.
Alan Richardson.
Okay.
So like he's able to be in a movie with him, another
Hmm.
individual that Hollywood is now pushing because of their debonair looks, their handsome looks,
Yeah.
their facial features, and their physicality that they bring to the screen.
Yeah.
So with me, I just want to see Kevin. excuse me, I just want to see Henry Cavill not only get more shine, but be in more things that help to accentuate his skills as an actor, like when he's really in his bag, so to speak.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I mean, one of the strengths of the movie is definitely the interplay between him and Jake Gyllenhaal, right?
Yeah,
And to me, Jake Gyllenhaal is one of the more versatile actors, more
agreed.
modern actors of today. I mean, I like if you see him in Prisoners, I mean, he's amazing in that. He's amazing in Nocturnal Animals, even though that's a very like disturbing movie to
Yeah,
watch. And then also like he can be fun in like something like Roadhouse, which normally I'm not a fan of remakes, but that one was just done very well,
no,
and
that was really
and
good.
it made me like I was like, cool, I liked it, and you know, obviously it's hard to replace Patrick Swayze, but
Rest in
he
power.
did, yeah, no doubt, but he did a really good job with that. One of the things also too with this film is that there hasn't been a lot of marketing around it, so most people haven't really seen it or even heard about it. Like as I was going into like going to watch it, I talked to a couple of people who know movies, and they were like, I hadn't even heard of it because it just kind of went under the radar. So, you know, maybe it did deserve more marketing and promotion, but that's why we're here to at least talk about it and elevate some of the things that we liked about it.
But to that point, I think that's calculated. I think it's more like if we're going to make a film that's under 100 million, which sounds crazy, but
Hmm.
you're going to make a film that's $50 million, we're not going to go hard and double the budget by
Yeah,
spending it on
that's a good point.
promotion.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Simultaneously, we were talking about with respect to the dynamic between Jake Gyllenhaal and Henry Cavill. That's the cornerstone or one of the cornerstones to this movie.
Yeah, no
The
doubt.
way that they're able to banter, play off each other. You could tell that there was a closeness or a rapport between them that goes beyond just the screen. These dudes, they probably hang out. If we're wrong,
They're good
that just goes
actors,
to a
and they're
credit
really
of
good
them.
actors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's more credit to them as being actors. And then another thing too that I wanted to highlight, which goes back to the original question about Guy Ritchie. You know, you can see a lot of influences in the way that he works. So, like my dad, one of the things he introduced me to was the spaghetti western.
Hmm.
So you got like the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Hmm.
You could see an influence in that. You could see like, which is also a reference to the Seven Samurais. So
Hmm.
like, there's this tradition of directors, you know, taking bits and pieces from here and there and implementing them. You could see like a little bit of Quentin Tarantino as well
Hmm.
in his style of the way that he actually has the camera navigate or take scenes, et cetera, et cetera. And I would even argue, you know how Spike Lee has like that flash, that the cut flash screen
Hmm.
of like he'll show a scene and then all of a sudden it flips to the other side of that.
Yeah.
Guy Ritchie uses something similar where you can see like certain movements in some movies where the perspective almost changes immediately within the same screen. So you think you're looking at one view, and then all of a sudden you're looking at another.
Hmm.
Um, and that was the movie I was trying to describe with Matthew McConaughey. I literally is bugging me that I can't remember the name of the movie because his wife in that movie also is not your typical damsel in distress, and I think that's another testament to a lot of the movies he puts out is that you don't have the female character being refrigerated. That's a comic book reference for Guile.
Hmm.
I mean, for
That's a
Kyle Ray.
Green
Yeah.
Lantern reference. Yes. Hmm.
So, you know, like usually the females in his movies are they'll have a scene in which they demonstrate some type of prowess with a weapon or fighting or using their intelligence in order to get out of a very daring and hairy situation.
Yeah. The other thing is he's also done movies with both of these actors before. So
Yes,
you know, the familiarity
familiarity.
between the director and the actor, knowing like how to be in a scene, that probably just helps the overall chemistry in the production for the three of them. I'm talking about Ritchie and Cavill and Gyllenhaal. Like they, you can tell that they work together. So yeah, man. So it's a very interesting story. Very stylized. Got some violence in it. Got some storyline into it as well.
Some.
Some it's got some. It's got some. Yo, let's jump into it. Let's jump into the cake, man. Let's jump into the cake. I know you got some things. You got some things. I got some things. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so you know, one of the things that I wanted to draw a parallel that I didn't make you privy to was in the Wrath of Man with Jason Statham.
Hmm.
You have like the Lone Gunman, which is another Guy Ritchie film. you have like this lone guy who's out on a quest and he's willing to do whatever he's going to do. And there's certain dramatic parts which try to appeal to your sympathies, and you try to be invested in the character. And then all of a sudden, it gives you one when you think of Jason Statham, which is nonstop action and
Yeah,
violence.
him
I
hurting
think this
people.
movie,
Yes.
yeah, I think this movie is another aspect of that where it tries to display Eiza's character as someone who's brilliant in the courtroom, who is able to negotiate major business deals, acquire assets from individuals that are unruly and rather difficult. How they always hit you in the say, for example, an into job interview where they're like, "Yo, tell me about your time when you had to deal with a difficult
Oh man,
person or
goodness
customer."
gracious, yeah,
So,
yeah.
like,
What's
I
your
think that,
weakness? What's your greatest weakness?
so I
I
think
just
like
work too hard. That's my greatest weakness.
so I think like that's the parallel between those two movies where you
Yeah.
have like these individuals that display that human side where it's not all about.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, they split them up into three different people. Usually in a Guy Ritchie film, you might get it in one, two at the
I could see
most.
that. I
In
could
this
see that.
film, they split it up. So you have Eliza, who is like the brains, like I mentioned in the synopsis. She's the strategist or strategist, however you wish to pronounce it. And then you have the rough and gruff guy in Jake Gyllenhaal, where he's like boots on the ground, like, yo, I'm doing all the action, I do the hard, et cetera, et cetera. And then you have Henry Cavill, who is the more suave individual, who's the more, James Bond
More James
esque
Bond
type
type,
of.
yeah.
So you get this appeal of an amalgamation of all three. So that leads to the cast. I think that this was a very good ensemble, and choices that were made by the screenplay and the director and the individuals in charge of casting, the casting director, et cetera, et cetera. I like the action scenes, especially as you highlighted in the pre-production meeting, the last 30 minutes, 45 minutes of the
All
film.
action, all gas, no brakes.
Um, the dialogue and the banter, especially between Jake Gyllenhaal and Henry Cavill, man, that's like I mentioned, it's a major cornerstone of the film, and that leads to the chemistry that I already highlighted. The premise, I think it was unique because I've never seen, at least I can't recollect seeing a movie in which they're talking about acquiring assets from individuals who flake on loans,
Mm-hmm.
especially at the $1 billion scale, and then have to resort to some type of violence, and that these individuals will, drop a body when have to. So it's like the carrot or the stick. Um, I like thematically. I'm definitely enthralled with the whole benefits of the intellectual side, operating with the more action side. I like how that blend was made with the usage of the characters. Like I couldn't envision using, say, like for example, I don't know, Remy Malik in any of these scenes
Yeah,
or being
yeah.
cast
It
in this
wouldn't be. It's not
character.
his type of movie. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I could
not
see
his
that.
type of movie. So, the choices of deliberately saying, like, hey, I'm going to use guys that I'm familiar with, yet they have to be talented,
Mm-hmm.
who fit, who give the audience the impression like this is plausible. I definitely like that. I like the escalation from being a very controlled mission they got on. They were able to integrate themselves very seamlessly before the bad guys found out that they were even there. They used cunning, they used guile, they planned out and mapped out certain things. And even when
Mm-hmm.
they left, they were able to revisit and put those things back in place without any type of unnecessary time and labor.
Mm-hmm.
And then, just last but not least, just the geographical location of this being a secluded place and then going to a desert where her friend and the other individual who was her guide were just like taken off the screen, murked real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're thinking it's safe, it's exotic, it's sexy, it's very appealing to the eye from an aesthetic standpoint. I just like the way that they incorporated that as well. Like their jet setting is
Yeah.
not just the city; they're going all over across the globe and not limited to just one location.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt, man. I got many of the same things. The main thing above all is just the interplay between Gyllenhaal and Cavill. That was really my reason for wanting to go see it. Like, was
Mm.
really them being in it. So I liked that. You talked about their banter. I thought, like, just from the very beginning when they were doing the conversation about what asset managers actually are,
Mm.
and Gyllenhaal's taking this one stance of like anti-asset managers, and then Cavill's like, I have one. I can introduce you to mine.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like, so their thing is kind of funny back and forth. that brings some levity to it. It's something that I can't, I don't know why, but the score of this movie is really well done. It's like it's good in the action parts. It's good in it builds like suspense, and then it kind of has like a little bit of a comedic tone because
Yes.
some of it in the beginning when they're spending more time kind of sabotaging some of Salazar's businesses, like the way the score is set up kind of highlights that, so it lets you know that that's what you're watching. And then, like, once again, the last 30 minutes of the movie is the best part to me. Like, I just it was I feel it almost makes me want to go back and look at the trailer to see if the trailer was all the scenes from the last 30 minutes to see if like that's where it was, because like that was the part that I really wanted to see in it. And it was the payoff for the slow burn of like everything that was set up. So as you said, they set up all these booby traps and everything, and then you see them get to execute them in the final half of the movie. So that was good, man. Those are the things I liked in terms of the cake, man. What you got? What you got on the hate, my brother?
All right. So me, I only got one thing on here. You know what I mean?
Why you
There's
do
a
the
lot
prefacing?
of
Why you prefacing? Why you prefacing?
because my whole thing is there's a lot of things on here that you could be like, that doesn't make sense, or
Why
I
you
would have
trying to
done
preface
something
it? Why you trying
different.
to do the pre-curt? Why you trying to do the pre?
No, I'm going to be very objective about this,
Okay.
where
Okay.
because as I've told the audience and for the newcomers, I haven't said it in a minute, but I try to suspend all realism when I go into the theater. So
Mm-hmm.
anything that even sounds preposterous,
Mm-hmm.
I'm for it.
Okay.
Like I can somehow come away and be like, all right, I can rationalize why this was done. So, for example, a major component of this movie is Rachel getting kidnapped in the desert, and then taken prison. Right?
Wait,
And
wait, hold. You getting into my hate now, my brother.
oh, my bad.
What's
I'm
your
sorry.
hate, man?
I'm
What's
just trying.
what's your hate? I got. I can set. I'm gonna set mine up. I'm gonna set it up.
No, I'm trying to use that for me to justify
You trying to
why I
alley
only
oop? You trying
have.
to alley oop yourself? Man. Just do the Dwayne Wade joint. I don't need that. Just I'll dunk it myself. Good.
I just wanted the movie to be longer, and why I'm highlighting that one scene is because it wasn't long enough.
Mm-hmm.
They go to the desert. She's there. She only has two people with her.
Yeah.
They didn't explain why she was there. They didn't explain, why only two individuals, what ties she has. I didn't really understand, the context of where Bronco and Sid were at
At that
in
point, yeah.
relationship to that. And then simultaneously, once she's kidnapped, I didn't know the duration from that period all the way to these guys actually getting on the island and getting her back. If they would have expanded that for me, that would have lengthened the movie. That
I
would have
got you.
given me more action scenes. That would have dealt with more of the meat and potato behind, like, oh yeah, we got a glimpse that she bailed them out in China. Now the reciprocity kicks in. They're trying to
Yeah.
do that. So for me, I wanted the movie to be longer than just an hour and 43 minutes or 42,
97.
whatever.
97 minutes. It's actually very fast. It's very
Yeah,
fast
you know what I
film.
mean?
Yeah.
Like that was too quick for me, which is not bad. Like if the pacing is going to be quick like that,
Mm-hmm.
then give me more of things that you could fill in about what are Sid and Bronco doing while she's out there? Did she say to them, "Hey, I don't need you to come with me. This is just vacation, whatever, whatever," or is it, "Yo, behind the scenes, I'm out here because I'm doing another deal for this, that, and the third. I
Yeah.
need you guys to do background check like you did on the other deal for this, that, and the third." So like just that, the particulars of why she's in jail being on fit with me as far as the length.
Yeah. It's an interesting point because in some ways, I think the movie really spends a lot of time setting up some parts of it, and then there's
Mm-hmm.
other parts where there's not as much time set up there like that. And that's one of those examples. For me, I just had this expectation that I'm going to see these two dudes like really get, as you would say, get busy for the whole movie, right? Or like within reason. And
Yeah,
it felt
yeah, yeah.
like the first 30 minutes of it is a lot of talking, and the talking kind of made me like really start searching through the plot in a way that I probably wouldn't have if they would have just kind
Mm.
of kept it banging from the beginning. Because in the first scene, the old dude gets killed, and oh, by the way, there's spoilers for this, everybody. So there's someone that gets killed right away. I should have said that at the beginning. My
Yeah,
bad. Just getting back to
before.
work. My bad. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, no, there's heavy spoilers in this review from this point forward. But it's like it started off like that, and I felt like the rest of it was gonna kind of trail in that direction, and then it sort of, I think, in some ways, to highlight the Rachel character. and maybe to validate like what her contribution to the story was going to be. And I just wanted to see more of Sid and Bronco, you know. And it was like, even like the backstory, like they showed them in the jail, and she got him out of jail. But it's like, you know, I got
How did she
questions for
even
you.
know to get them
I got
out of
questions for
jail?
you. Right, that's going to be in my questions for you to fill in those gaps for me. Then you know, like because the story focused so much on the legal aspect of it and the idea of freezing his assets or taking away his property, it then made me start thinking about like the plausibility of that. Like how fast could you really do that? Because the movie kind of compresses it down to make it seem like this is happening in a couple weeks. And just for people with that much money, you're not getting any legal judgments in a couple weeks with people with that kind of that level of money at their disposal. It's going to take years to get things done, mostly through that way. So that was just one of the things I was hitting on. You talked about Rachel being kidnapped. Whenever a person is kidnapped, it's like it's I feel like something has to happen to them for there to be like real stakes in them getting kidnapped. So, you know, she got to get hit or something, pushed down some steps. Something's got to happen to make me feel like she's in danger. And I just never felt that. Maybe that's just the way that the story was crafted. But once she got kidnapped, something needed to happen to kind of make it feel like, okay, she's in danger. And there's now like this pressure on Sid and Bronco to come to her rescue. Last thing is my man Baker, who just threw his life away like pointlessly at the end, where he's almost like, yo, y'all, I know we could all get away together, but um I'm gonna just get myself killed. It reminded me of back in the Austin Powers movie when the guy stand in front of the cement roller and they like, just step to the side. Just step to the side and you'll be out of it. Just step to the side. Baker could have got out. Like he had everything on remote. He could have just remote blew up the whole house from 10 minutes away, but he didn't. And those are just my things that I just didn't think about. So
I am. I'm just going to offer a little pushback. One, the court scenes, they have to fast forward through those, and I'm pretty sure there was a lengthy process,
mm-hmm.
and I think that's the reason why they tried to expedite those, if you will, because if they would have gone through all of the layers of
Mm-hmm.
appeal, all right, let's throw in five attorneys, just to have them pose there,
Yeah.
it's needless. At that
Right.
point, on that level, it's more like, look, eventually when you get to the top, there's one person you're dealing with, and there's one lead attorney.
Mm-hmm.
So all those other people, just for the budget's sake, we could trim the fat. One of the things that you can control in business is payroll. So you're having all the extra actors that they're filming,
Mm-hmm.
maybe they were under the guidelines. I get it. For
But then
you,
but then they don't have to put it in there then. Just don't do it because I don't
don't
even
do it if
really
they can't put in the extra
don't do
layers.
it if you can't. Don't do it if you can't make it make sense. Like
I
no
think it
one,
did make sense though.
no one's going in there thinking like, "Hey, I really want to see an intense legal drama about asset management." That's not
No,
what
but what
anyone.
they're saying,
That's
no, not at all.
no
But I
one's no
think
one's
what
going
they're
in there
saying,
thinking that. So show me the action. But if
you
you're gonna
can't get to
make,
the action without. They're not just going to go, "Hey, you owe us money. You're not giving us the money. All right, we're going to start shooting you." You've got to
yo,
go through the production of, look, we sent this other team. It was her mentor who ended up getting killed. So they
right,
kind of like
right,
insinuated like that
right,
was the foot door in. Then the second one is, oh, she's standoffish. She likes a
mm-hmm,
challenge. She's very opinionated, stubborn. So
mm-hmm,
now she's also a brilliant litigator.
yeah,
And this guy has done everything in his power to
yeah,
try and undermine her because she's a woman, because she's short in
yeah,
stature. So they wanted to go through the process of we these guys got hired. We're not just going to gloss over the fact that they report to a governing body, a corporate entity. And then simultaneously, I think what they're also going to do is, look, this is a known guy who took $1 billion,
mm-hmm,
went to Saudi Arabia, went to Dubai to
mm-hmm,
build a building.
mm-hmm.
You got to show some type of legalities or whatever have you that
Absolutely,
frame all these individuals in a
absolutely,
positive light. So,
absolutely.
that's why I'm saying, like, and I think we both are agreeing that they should have lengthened the process then by including more layers as to, all right, well, how does it go from this to this to this?
Yeah,
They kind of figured, well, the audience is mature and sophisticated enough to not need that, and that we don't want to belabor the point and belittle the audience. So we're just going to give just enough to where we feel that it'll pacify them and even satiate others.
right.
And then,
Hold on. It met your standard, right? But it didn't
yeah,
meet mine. It's 2026. The most famous movie we have about people killing people started over somebody killing someone's dog, and they got 4 movies out of it. You can
no
do
question.
action and it worked. You don't have to down with a bunch of exposition and a bunch of ideas about how the legal system works and asset management. People come, like you said, it's Henry Cavill and it's Jake Gyllenhaal, and people want to see action. And if you're gonna make people sit through courtroom scenes, then they should at least add up to what you would expect from a courtroom movie. At that point, or just don't do those scenes.
I beg to disagree. It's
Okay,
not a. It's
and
not
that's
just a
why
courtroom movie. And no, and
exactly.
it's totally
And
fine. But where I part ways, where I want the audience and the other individual who may come across this is this movie tries to give you a little bit of everything.
mhm,
Sometimes the execution is a little lacking in other areas. I'll
yep,
grant you that. However, when it's on, and I don't think that they can give you everything because they're in hopes of either having a prequel, which will address some of the questions that you and I have,
mhm,
or a sequel in which we'll understand a little bit more, where they may flash back and also compare and contrast their present situation to the other movie. And then, just as a sidebar, the movie that I was talking about with Matthew McConaughey is
mhm.
called The Gentleman.
Okay,
Um,
okay,
um,
yeah,
I had forgotten, and I was trying to remember, and then all of a sudden triggered
yeah,
something with me saying it. But nonetheless, I think that where another part of the movie where Guy Ritchie may have stumbled, and you mentioned this before, is that in the pre-production meeting, is that Rosamund Pike's character,
yeah. They messed that. Yeah, that
they
didn't.
they
Yeah, I
met
forgot
that
about
was a
that.
good opportunity to like really like use her a little bit more. I feel like they fumbled that,
Hmm.
but I can live with it because I like Rosamund Pike, whether it be in the Jack Reacher joint or as a James Bond girl, or
Hmm.
even other things that I've seen her in. um, you know I'm like, hey, if I can get her in a movie, great. It doesn't matter what role it is, because whatever she does, she does it with a great deal of authenticity and integrity.
Yeah, yeah. I felt like they could have done more with that character, and Salazar feel like he should have been going after her, to be honest with you, as opposed
Mm.
to going after Rachel, because that's the person that really actually Rachel and Salazar should have both been going after her because she didn't pay either one of them. She didn't give the guy back his stuff, and she didn't pay him. So
But I think
she
she got her in the end when when Bronco and Sid capture Salazar, and he's the
right,
reason why it leads to all this other downfall.
yeah,
And she's like, "Well, what did you do with him? Did you kill him? No, because he's going to sing, and
yeah,
then all this it's going to be revealed that you were the reason why all this got brought to light, and it just further enhances Rachel's standing. So I don't
yeah.
have to kill you, and I don't have to kill him. I'm going to use him as a means to bring about your downfall legally."
Yeah, it's something that we talked about before. I'm always interested about what the calculation is on when people get killed and don't get killed in movies where a lot of people are getting killed, and like making the decision that even for Salazar, that Salazar should go to jail, but like 50 of his men got murdered over the course of the movie, right?
Yeah,
Or
they knew
like
what they signed up
Salazar or
for.
like Salazar deciding to capture Rachel, but she killed his mentor. Like there's a calculation thing that um it's almost like it's easier if you just say with a broad brush, I'm gonna kill everybody. Right. Like
Mm.
I can almost like sit there and say, cool, I get that. Like you're an indiscriminate killing
Kill them
machine.
all.
You're an indiscriminate killing machine. I can sign up for that. So yeah, like I get it, man. It's a very interesting thing because most of the time when I watch a movie, I don't actually see about what other people thought of it, but I actually did with it. I'll talk a little bit about that a little bit when we get the scores on it and everything. But let's get into the questions, man. I got two questions for you, man, and I'm gonna ask you to fill in some gaps for me, man. So,
Okay.
all right. So here's my first question, yo. So they show the scene with Sid and Bronco, in jail and everything. So you get the course that they've been familiar with each other for a while. Tell me the backstory. Like, how do you think Sid and Bronco met?
I think that these two guys, they worked simultaneously in some type of armed forces,
Hmm.
and more of the specialized. So maybe Bronco, a Green Beret, or Delta Force, whatever. And then Sid was something in the Royal Air Force or whatever, or SAS,
Hmm.
whatever it is.
Something
And
where they
then
call
they,
people mom.
yeah, and then together.
something something where they call their superiors mom. Yeah,
And then eventually they like linked up because they were fighting, somewhere in like a inhospitable area or whatever have you, formed this chemistry. One of them saved the other, et cetera. They became close, decided to work as mercenary or what do they call them? Black ops,
Black Ops people,
private
yeah.
contractors, whatever
Mm-hmm.
name you wanna put up with. Did something that they were disavowed. They were left in China. They probably got caught at a bar or something, messing with some girls, and that's how they
I
got
could
set
see
up. They
that.
were blocked off. And then in turn, Rachel found out about it. She's trying to formulate her team. She gets them out, and then they come to some type of an agreement where it's more profitable if they all work together. They in turn look out for her and look at her as a little sister because they
Mm.
recognize that being romantically involved isn't going to work or whatever have you, and they don't want to mess up that dynamic, or that she's younger than them, or that she reminds them of another family member. Nonetheless, it's then they branch off and do their own thing, somewhere along the lines. Maybe she splits from them or some type of disagreement, which reinforces that they should stick together. And then it's been on ever since.
There it is. I watch that. I want to watch that. So you said something that makes me want to ask a different question. Did you think at some point that maybe Henry Cavill's character and Rachel were like kind of familiar with each other, like they had like a little bit of a kind of
In the
relationship
biblical
thing?
sense,
Yeah, man. Like
he
something.
knew
Did you get
he
a
knew
sense
her.
that there was like a potential for that? Because I felt like that was kind of there, but then it kind of got scaled back. When you said the part about them being like a brothers to sister relationship, I could see it. That's how it played out. But did you expect that to go that way?
Well, see, here's my thing, right? One, and I'm pretty convinced that um, um, Daryl De Silva is the guy who played Braxton, and he
Mm-hmm.
didn't get credited in that. So when they killed him off or whatever, this goes to the point of like the whole like will they, won't they stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of those things got on the cutting room floor. So they may have explored, hey, one of these guys, maybe they're romantically inclined, or
Yeah.
maybe like the introduction was, oh, Sid, I want to try and holler at her. Okay, Bronco, you try. And
Mm-hmm.
if you fail, let the best man win. I'm going to try and holler at her.
I would have
She
watched that
shoots
movie
both of
too.
them, and
Yeah.
she shoots both of them down. They end up getting put in prison, and then they're like, "Oh, she's the chick from the bar or whatever." Not on that type of time, and so the same way that they cut her off, you know what I mean? I mean, the same way that they cut Daryl De Silva's name off of the credits and everything like that. Like if you go online, you won't see that he is listed as one of the characters, and he's also one of the actors that Guy Ritchie works with. He's in um, the Wrath of Man
Wrath of Man.
as
Mhm.
what you call it, as Jason Statham's right hand man.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. Like Guy Ritchie has a habit of leaving certain things off to where like you could put together a director's cut to see like, oh, they really had something going on.
There it is. All right, cool. Those are my questions, man. What you got for me?
All right, first question for you, sir. Are the antagonists in the film truly distinct moral entities, or are they simply alternative expressions of the same systematic corruption embodied by the protagonist's employers?
Wow, that's like a Jeopardy question there, man. Goodness gracious. I think the main villain, Salazar, is I mean, he's a criminal, but so is the asset management company that Rosa that sorry, I'm forgetting the actress's name works for. They're all kind of criminal.
Rosamund Pike?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rosamund Pike, yeah. They're all criminal. Like they're like her company gave a known drug dealer and a known like despot $1 billion. You know what I mean? So like, and their only condition was that you got to pay us back. If he paid them back, it would be no problem. Like the movie wouldn't even existed. It would have just been business as usual. So the movie is a critique of like that in a subset way. But I think the villain himself is not holding any real significant space because the Salazar character doesn't like even when he's trying to be ferocious, it doesn't even feel like he's really ferocious. And I think that's part of it. They almost need like a different villain, or they need somebody that's a little
All
bit
right. So you're
more
really speaking more.
dangerous. Well, I mean, yeah, the actor, but maybe even like what he's even given. Like there, like maybe it needs a scene where he pushed somebody off a roof or something like that.
Oh,
Something
so you want him to be more sinister?
he's got to do something. I mean, for if you have even quasi heroes, they need to have a good villain for there to be any kind of tension in there. Otherwise, there's not even a risk to any of the characters. That's part of the reason why I think for me, when Rachel gets kidnapped, it doesn't even feel like she's in real danger because Salazar hasn't been built up to be so ruthless or cunning or dangerous that he's somehow a threat to her or a threat to Sid and Bronco.
That's tough. That's tough. I get the whole thing about Bobby being one of the villains, but I'm not sure that there is a good and a bad in this. Just things that you don't want to happen and what side of the fence you want to be on.
Yeah.
With that being said, then in what ways does the film challenge or reinforce the audience's expectation that espionage protagonists should ultimately be redeemable or morally consistent?
Yeah. I mean, it just depends on how you look at it. So when you're saying this, you're talking about Sid and Bronco in that sense, right? Those characters. All
Yeah.
right. So I mean, you know, it's kind of like it's kind of like the movie has a different kind of vibes to me. Like one is this notion of violent Ocean's 11 where they're like
Mm.
setting everything up. They're a little bit ahead of the bad guy, and so the bad guy's a little bit behind them in that sense, right? So they have that vibe. They also have like the A-team vibe, right? Because it's like small group of
Mm-hmm.
people able to, obviously they're military
Yeah.
trained, so they can do things on this scale that they can. Six people can fight a whole country's worth of soldiers, right? It's like okay, and they shoot like stormtroopers, so it works, right? Okay, so I
Small
got that,
army.
right? So I get that, but I'm using that example to say like you can look at both Ocean's 11 and his team sort of like as heroes, right? Because they're robbing somebody who was like a villain, quote
Yeah.
unquote
On a
villain,
Robin
right?
Hood theory.
Yeah, or like for the A team, it's like you can hire these people to get after people that you can't deal with that are like bad, and they're mercenaries, but they were like good mercenaries. I think, ironically enough, and I'm not trying to use the title, Sid and Bronco are like in the gray space between those two extremes, right? Where like one set is like the A team always feels like a group of good guys who just they're there to help you, and then Ocean's 11 is kind of like a pack of thieves who like they get rich by robbing somebody with more money than them, and Sid and Bronco are in the middle of that. So like I don't know if their thing is so much like redemption as much as can you as the audience appreciate the execution of what they're doing. And in that sense, I can, because like I said, the last 30 minutes are the best part of the film to me, because that's where you see all the fruition of their planning and how technically proficient and sound they actually are, with the exception of Baker, who threw his life away for no reason.
I like what you did there. You may not have known that you were doing it. So the A team, we know B.A. Baracus,
Mhm.
Face, Murdoch, and Hannibal. But the A team, the rap group, which is Joe Budden, Fabulous, Paul Kane, and Ransom. So
Mhm.
that tie in there of a group coming together, being successful as individuals and as well as a unit. And then simultaneously, uh, for those that aren't seeing it, CJ's title was "Everyone Answers to Someone,"
Oh
so that
yeah.
that
Yeah.
also ties in.
Everybody
Um,
does.
and then and then I think the brilliant thing that you did when you said like it's the A team meets
Ocean's
uh,
11.
Ocean's 11 is that you have an ensemble cast
Mhm.
where it's a bunch of leading men that are able to carry these specialized skills on their own to enhance the unit. And
Mhm.
simultaneously, we talk about Sid, Bronco, and Rachel specializing in what they do, and then in turn in being able to delegate to those underneath them. And I
Yeah.
really believe that Joseph Mangillo is in this, man.
He's not in the movie,
You
man.
can't tell me that
He's
dude
not.
looks just
He's
like
not. He
Joe
looks like he's
Manganiello,
not
man.
him, man. It's not that dude, man. All right, man. That's cool. Let's get into the popcorn, man. I'm gonna go first, man, because I know
All
you
right.
get. I know it. So, yo, I wanted really wanted to like this movie, man. I did. I wanted to like it. I really like Jake Gyllenhaal. I really like Henry Cavill. I wish they would have just made a whole movie like the last 30 minutes, and it would have been me, man. But as it is, or whatever, until all the deleted scenes are released in like 4 years or something like that, I'm giving it 2 boxes of popcorn.
Wow. Disappointed, but okay. I am doubling CJ's
There
joint
it
of
is.
popcorn. I want
Double
four
up.
boxes.
Double
I'm
up.
doubling them, just like Mace said. I'm doubling up. I want 4 boxes. I think that this One, it was a great reintroduction back into the movie theater for me as
Mm-hmm.
far as like the action.
Yep.
What CJ termed it, the calamity. So you got the comedy, the action.
The
So
Killamity, the
the
Killamity, yeah,
calamity.
that the Killamity, that's
So
your joint, man.
I definitely I was very engaged in the movie. I was very looking forward to seeing these guys interact together. Um, I always know that the trailers sometimes have other scenes, deleted scenes put
Mm-hmm.
in, or they may showcase other. So I wasn't going based upon the trailers. I was just looking at it more like, oh, the premise is this. It's an action movie or action based. You got Jake Gyllenhaal, you got Henry Cavill, you got Eiza Gonzalez. Cool. Everybody else that that comes in that is a name like a Rosamund Pike or a Stan, what's his face? I was like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? Like I'm all for it. And then actually being in the theater, seeing the different scenes, seeing the different individuals interact with one another, the chemistry, the rapport, the violence, obviously, the witty banter. I'm all for it. So yeah, I'm going with 4 boxes,
So
man.
you got 4 boxes on it. All right, so that's how we kicking off season 12, 2 and 4, man. So we don't
Two
have
out of
a
four.
alignment for right now, man. But we got
No.
11, we got 10 more chances to get there. All right, as far as my hot take goes, man. So this goes back to something that I was saying before. I think the movie is short, and to some extent that works for it. I do think that I would have really loved to see more of the backstory that of Sid and Bronco. A lot of those things that you said, like the ideas of what could have happened, cut back scenes, show me those things, man. Show me that. Give me that as opposed to like the legal parts of it. Like if you got a small amount of time, I say get your money's worth with that. So my hot take is cut the legal scenes, put more of those cutback scenes in, show me more of the action because that's what brought me to the store, brought me to the theater is that. So that's my hot take. Not anything that deep.
I respect that. See, my hot take is a little bit more analytical, and more about the philosophy that now I see undertaken by movie producers and directors
Mm-hmm.
and screenplay writers. You don't have and I think we talked about this. I just forget what episode, but previous seasons ago. You don't have the stereotypical action hero. See bad guy, kill bad guy, rescue female, get
Yeah,
home.
we did that. The
Um,
nobody. When we did nobody too. We
yeah,
talked about this. Yeah.
yeah, we don't you don't see the bad guys wear black, good guys wear white,
Mm-hmm.
anymore. What you now see is a critique about the procedural cynicism that kind of like violates any and all ethics. In the movie, you talk about how Sid and Bronco have this undying and unblinding loyalty to Rachel, where they're
Mm-hmm.
willing to risk life and limb, and it's even followed suit by the rest of the team. They'll say things like "Yes, mom," or
Yeah.
yes, they'll acknowledge that she does things off the unbeaten path, where they'll go to a place that they know is compromising. Like, why would you stop
To get a
in the
beer.
middle
Yeah.
of to
That
get
was
beer?
yeah. That
But
kind of.
they plan for it because this is what she does. They know that this is part of who she is. As far as telling the bad guys, like, come and get me. There's nothing you can do. My team is better than yours. We're well prepared. So if you think that you're going to get over on me, you're not. If you want to take it there, we're entrapping you to force you to do something that now we can use on a litigation side.
Mm-hmm.
And you see this more prevalent throughout a lot of movies that are now starting to come off, where you'll have these split factions. We did a movie previously with the corruption of the United States, and we were worried about is this mimicking what'll potentially come undone,
You talking about
where you
Civil
have
War?
where
Yeah,
you'll
Civil War.
have um, certain allies being unified due to at the time joint commonalities.
Mm-hmm.
So there were no good guys or bad guys. It's just that they had certain things in common and they were linking up.
Yeah.
That's the same thing here, where look, we all know about asset management, whether we want to or not, because we're talking about paying bills. And if you don't pay a bill, then you got a bill collector,
Mm-hmm.
asset manager. We're talking about logistics, about acquiring goods and services. When you go to the store, how do you think it gets there? Those tractor trailers that are clogging up traffic lanes, et cetera, et cetera. Well, we're seeing that now in these movies where people are like, yo, I know that this is a necessary evil, but I don't like it. And how can we get these things done away with? Whereas traditionally, when you go to the movie theater, things made sense. Oh, Indians came to John Wayne's town, took Scarlett O'Hara. I know I'm mixing things up
Yeah.
here. It's intentional. And then they ran off. Now he's got to go and get her. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that. But now we're talking about certain things that are being critiqued. For example, we had this Ministry of War being now financing things behind the scenes where they're selling the guns and the bandages. Sure,
Mhm.
this was done during World War II, but now it's more prevalent now where you see individuals profiteering off of this as if it's business as usual,
Yep.
where you can sell off debt in order to get somebody. And then all of a sudden, when you're acquiring the debt, you can also enrich yourself.
Mhm.
Or this whole pipeline of school to prison and having prisons in these small towns, and the population there, even though they can never vote or can't vote at that time, will be utilized as part of the population to get more electoral votes and winning these key states. So I just say that now the movies are more indicative of that type of what's going on with society. Society's problems are ill. Just drop the bomb on everyone. There's no such thing as good guys or bad guys. Everybody's corrupt. It's just that we're tending to align ourselves with those who are less corrupt than those we seek to seek vengeance from.
There it is. There it is, man. Geopolitical analysis, man, on In the Gray, courtesy of Mr. Will. That's our breakdown of In the Gray, man. In the Gray is in theaters right now, so you can definitely check it out while it's there. Once again, the Sticky Force podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. We're on YouTube, where we want you to like, subscribe, and share. You can also follow us on X, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Threads, where we're continuing the conversation about the movies like this and other movies and even sometimes some shows as well. Next week we are coming back with The Mandalorian and Grogu, or as I like to call it, Boba Fett 2.0 and Baby Yoda. So we're gonna see how that goes and how that delivers, and we will see you next week. Peace.